This video is sponsored by Micro Center and their Custom PC Builder. Use the Custom PC Builder to plan your next build, and when parts are added to your cart and in-store pickup is selected, you'll have the option for a Micro Center technician to fully build your PC for an extra fee. And if the order is placed at least 4 hours before closing, you can enjoy your new PC the very same day. Get the best prices and parts selection at any of Micro Center's 25 locations across the United States, and right now my viewers can get a free pair of wireless headphones while supplies last, in-store only. To see everything that Micro Center has to offer, and to learn more about this limited time free headphone giveaway, click the link in the description below.
Well, there's one thing you can actually kind of sort of buy during this whole product shortage thing, and that's laptops. And I've said this for several years now, I am still on the search for the perfect laptop. So many brands get so close to getting 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned, but no one's gotten there yet. And it's highly frustrating because I'm a laptop enthusiast. I really like laptops. So today we're taking a look at one that was sent over by Micro Center to kind of companion the MSI laptop we looked at last month. Again, this is not sent by MSI, these are sent by Micro Center. So this is the MSI GE76 Raider 10, it's actually 10UH or 10 bruh. So it's essentially a slightly larger version of the one that we already checked out again last month. I'm gonna do some temperature testing, but this has a couple of specs. In fact, before we do the unboxing, because the unboxing is always what people care about too. They wanna see what comes in the package, although I've already taken it out and put it back, so it's really kind of a fake unboxing. That's fine. We'll talk about the specs because it's kind of insane. So this is the titanium blue, is what they call it, which I think is a really cool color, although I am blue-yellow colorblind, so I don't know exactly what shade of blue it is, but what I see looks beautiful. We'll talk about it in a sec. 17.3 inch, full HD, IPS 300 hertz panel. It kind of seems wasted on a laptop. However, because of the fact that it does have an RTX 3080 16 gigabyte GDDR6, yeah, those specs are kind of weird because remember the Max-Q slash mobile variant, whatever they're calling it this generation, they kind of rename it every generation to make you think you're getting more than you really are. I have a feeling it could probably push 300 hertz in games like CSGO and any of these titles that, don't have a lot of demand or necessary horsepower to push those titles. But it does have an 8-core 16-thread i7 10875H processor, 32 gigabytes of DDR4, it's two 16 gigabyte sticks, a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, and then all the usual stuff. All right, so here's the unboxing. Nothing too crazy, lots of soft foam. Here is the unit right there. And then you get the manuals and stuff that come with it. We will reveal the color. Now this says, according to the product sheet, that it's 4.5 pounds. It's funny because that's fairly light for a laptop these days, especially one with this level of componentry. They tend to be really thick and have big heat sinks in them when they've got this much power. However, the brick is massive, as you can see, as you would expect, given the, again, 16 core or 16 thread, 8-core 16 thread, 3080. It's actually not that thick. I mean, back in the day for a laptop like this, you would see like it'd be twice as thick as they are. You ready to see this color? Because I think it looks really nice. So it has the same aesthetic like we saw with the other one. It's got these very, what I call like stealth fightery or slash like, it kind of reminds me of an Aventador, especially with the vents in the back. What I want to go ahead and say is I really love the way the MSI laptops look this generation because they kind of got rid of a lot of the gaudiness that they always would put with their gaming stuff. Red trim, lights everywhere. There's actually no lights that glow on the outside of this in terms of the cover right here. All right, so kind of taking a tour for connectivity. On the back right here, you've got full-size LAN port, full-size HDMI. You've got your USB-C. When it comes to the sides, 2 USB-A card reader, and then another USB-C headphone jack, which is a dual prong jack, so it does headphone and mic, like the same one you use on your phones if you have a phone that has a headphone jack, and then another USB-A. So let's talk about battery. Battery life is not something I tend to really worry too much about. And I'm in the minority on that. People with laptops are always like, I want to know how long the battery life lasts. If you want a battery that lasts forever, get yourself either a Microsoft Surface or a MacBook. Those are the laptops that are going to last forever. When it comes to laptops with this level of hardware, when they're on battery, they pull all the core clock out of the GPU, they pull all the core clock out of the CPU, they go as low power use as they possibly can. You're not gonna be able to game on it. You're not gonna be able to do anything that uses any sort of the multi-threading or CPU to its full potential or efficiency. I would go as far as to say that if you try and use a PC like this on its battery power, it is like the wrong use case for it. I just look at this as being a desktop replacement, a mobile desktop replacement because this brick alone weighs almost as much as the laptop itself, at least it feels that way. It's a 280 watt brick. So you can see how much power this laptop uses as soon as you do anything that allows it to turn up the throttle. In terms of the battery though, it is the biggest battery we've ever personally seen in a laptop. It comes in at 99.99 kilowatt hours, which is oh wow. Okay, it'll last months. 99.99 watt hours, 0.01 watt hours below the FAA regulation as to how big of a battery you can carry on an airplane. So you can't put a bigger battery in here. But with the hardware that's in here, still the battery can only apply or provide so much amperage and wattage. And it's not gonna do it for very long, which is why when you're on battery power, these things always throttle down. One thing to keep in mind though, if you are planning on, well, I'll just plug it into the AC outlet on your plane, it is not gonna power this brick. Nothing's gonna happen. So this is a desktop replacement that does great when plugged in a hotel, or plugged in at the coffee shop, or plugged in wherever there's a plug that can provide enough amps for this brick. Like even my truck has a 480 watt AC adapter in it, but it can't provide the amps that you need, so even small laptops don't get powered off of that inverter and built into my truck. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's fire it up. Let's get Steam on here. Let's get some games that might be able to actually provide 300 frames per second and see what this screen looks like. I'm pretty excited. All right, so in terms of the performance review, I'm gonna start with audio. You could probably go back in my channel several years. I've done dozens and dozens of laptop reviews, and I'm always left disappointed with the audio. Specifically, MSI laptops have, in my opinion, the notoriously worst audio. With the size of this laptop being 17.3 inches, you can see the thickness leaves plenty of room here for good speakers. The speakers on this particular laptop are on the sides. So you've got perforated grill right here and right here. So they are up-firing speakers. I don't see anything on the bottom. There could be something in those vents, but they're not down-firing. And that is where I feel like they've always kind of made a mistake. They would put the speakers right here on the front with the right near the foot, firing down, bouncing back at you, which when sound reflects, I don't want to get into the scientific specifics of it, but actually having sound reflect can increase the quality of the audio if it's tuned and designed for such. That's why bass chambers and all that exist, because reasons. But look it up yourself if you want to know why when sound reflects, it changes the way it sounds. And having it bounce off the table, lifting it up like that, just like you can hear the fans being louder, you'd hear louder audio, but it just always sounded muffled, and they would use the cheapest like 1 or 2 watt speakers they could find, and it was just terrible. However, on the GE76 Raider, on the other hand, you guys are not obviously going to be able to hear this natively like you would in this atmosphere. The microphone's picking it up. But what I can tell you is that it's got pretty good highs, the mids are there, and it does a decent job of actually reproducing some of the low frequencies without having any of the downfire. Because having downfire does help with some of the low frequency recreation. However, and with the jazz, it's getting all the piano notes nicely. You can hear the little snare drum. Mamma mia! You want to see my apartment? Okay, so some of you might be wondering, Jay, most people with laptops and stuff are going to probably use headphones for gaming, so disturbing your neighbors or whatever, or just for better audio because people know laptop audio sucks. The thing about a unit like this is you can use it for work, you can use it for content creation, video editing, and you don't have to use your headphones if you want to listen to the audio and stuff. Again, for the longest time, any MSI laptop I'd get sent, I'm just like, here we go, audio is going to suck. And this one actually doesn't. So let's go ahead and do some 3D Mark on here, just so that we can give you guys some numbers to compare. They should be pretty dang close to the 15-inch laptop we compared that has the same RTX 3080 Max Q edition. What are they actually calling it? Are they even calling it anything these days? Because we think it's a little disingenuous to call it an RTX 3080 because it doesn't perform like one. So let's see, because I think we found it was a little closer to like a 3060 Ti in terms of where it landed. Yeah, it just says laptop GPU. Okay, sure. We're just doing Port Royal. This is out of the box. This is all fresh install. The driver is actually an edition old, but that's fine. Because the game we're gonna test, which is Borderlands 3 and CSGO, these are not game-ready drivers that are older than those titles. All right, so the test is about to end. Here's the fan noise. Really having to lean in there. One of the things that's really different this time around versus the Max-Q series is Max-Q and Max-P had audio acoustic limitations on how loud something could be in the laptop. NVIDIA had a big say on how the cooling and the sound and all that was with the final units before they were approved for sale. So our graphics score was a 7524. Where does that put us on the desktop? 3070 FE is 8228, and we don't have anything else in the 7000. Oh wait, the AMD 6800 is a 7666. After doing some installs and running that, is that sitting at 43C. When things are installing, I'll see the temperature, and we talked about this on the previous laptop. I thought maybe the cooling would be a little bit better on this because it's a little larger, maybe room for more heat pipe. It's about the same. When things are running and installing, I'll see it get as high as 93, 94C, which is well within spec for this particular CPU, but that's why overclocking is not really a thing on it. This is with the balanced fan curve on here. I did bump the fan curve a couple of percent. It didn't really make a difference. If you wanted to use if you're just like, I don't care about the noise, I'm wearing headphones that it run as cool as possible, you could hold function and hit the F8. That'll put on cooler boost, which just brings the fans all to 100%. CPU fan first, then GPU fan. And then it just has a real kind of a high-pitched hum to it. That sound might actually make it through your headphones, to be honest, just so you know. But you can adjust it that way. Check this out. Also too, if you want to cheat at like 360 no scope, bro, it does have crosshair. All right, so now we're gonna test the screen here. Remember, it is a 1080p Full HD IPS 300 hertz panel. Excuse me, 300.185. What I think is funny here is if you click on refresh rate, you get two options, 60 or 300.185. But are you really gonna change it from 300 for any reason? No, because look at this.
Well, they literally can. It's 10 times faster than what they're seeing.
Exactly. I've never seen a mouse this smooth before. All right, so we're gonna do Borderlands 3. Again, another piece of GPU performance testing. We are not going to get 300 FPS or anywhere near 300 FPS. Obviously, that's for when we go to like CSGO, which is, let's be honest, these types of games are not games that you seek the highest FPS possible anyway. Sure, it's a shooter, but I think anything above like 100 FPS it's loud, right? Anything above 100 FPS or around 100 FPS in a game like this is desirable. I'm trying to make a video, loudspeakers! Let's go ahead and just do a benchmark here. I love watching the mouse move. We just play the mouse game. Anyway, it's so freaking, I mean, the highest panel I've ever seen is 240, and even then it wasn't that nice. I have 165 hertz panel on my home unit, but this is nice. All right, so let's go and just see what the FPS in Borderlands 3 is. So we were an average of 98.24 FPS. If we compare that once again to our desktop GPU brethren here, a 3060 Ti FE got 97. So yeah, it's kind of funny that I was saying earlier off camera that the 3080 RTX laptop GPU we reviewed before was landing right around a 3060 Ti, faster than a 3060 Ti slightly, and slower than a 3070 FE slightly. So I was saying it should have been called I said 3075, and Phil was like, no, it should be a 3065. I think they should bring the 5 number back for the models like they used to have for the laptops. All right, but we need to find a title that will actually utilize the 300 FPS, because that's the other thing, is if you can't push 300 FPS, what good is a 300 hertz panel? All right, so here we are inside Counter-Strike Go. We're sitting at, God, it's moving so fast it's hard to tell, but it's definitely over 200 FPS. Wow. He's not even moving and I'm missing him. The FPS is, that's the FPS. No, what? Oh, crap. It's good that it's bad bots, huh? So, all right, Nick, you're up.
Do you?
Oh, dang, even I didn't die.
Is that even lined up?
No. They do it. Ah! Oh, crap! That's messing with me. Oh, I got 2 for 1.
You kept aiming with the crosshair.
I know, and it wasn't even right. It's not even right. That would never work against real players, but one more round. As you guys can see, it's maybe you can't see because you're watching this video in 29.97 FPS or whatever it is. It is really, really damn smooth. A couple last things to talk about. Here's the sound. This fan is going very fast versus this fan. I believe this is the GPU fan on that side. So our GPU's max temp was 61. And this is for all the gaming that we were doing. So 61, and it was hovering more like, you see right here in the 50s, 57, and then it kind of goes up to like 60 right there. That's not bad at all. A couple other things when it comes to lighting. So one of the things that I don't like about gaming laptops is gaudy lighting everywhere for the sake of lighting. So yes, you can see that there is this translucent tinted LED strip behind here, which is its gradient. So you don't see the individual LEDs, but it is addressable, so you can control it in the built-in software, and the RGB keyboard. However, if you look at it from the other perspective, the backside, as you can see, we've got our power plug and our Ethernet plugged in. There's no lighting on the back whatsoever. So it definitely has that really clean aesthetic. This titanium blue color, I think, is still my favorite color I've seen on a laptop so far. In fact, my Microsoft Surface is a cobalt blue. I like blue laptops for some reason. The inside's black. This area right here is also metal, and it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet. It also can scratch easily. There's already a small scratch in here just from us playing today. I personally don't like the look of this, because to me it's not bright enough, because it's the way it's behind a tinted black piece of plastic. So I think leaving it off is just the right move, honestly. See, it just looks like a piece of piano plastic at that point. But this laptop right here gives you, at least at the time of making this video, the best components that you can possibly cram into a laptop. At a time when it's nearly impossible to get any desktop components, this might make sense for some people to just buy a high-end gaming laptop like this, plug in an external monitor, get yourself a keyboard and mouse hooked up to it, prop it up on a stand or something so it gets plenty of airflow. I mean, we were getting well over 200 FPS. The counter was moving so fast you couldn't even tell what it was actually doing. So anyway, because we were sent this laptop to take a look at, I decided to, well, take a look at it. That's how it works around here. Took off the plastic now, which means it's officially ours. We're not sending this one back, keeping it, it's mine. So once again, on the search for the perfect laptop. I can't personally think of any cons so far to this one, other than maybe just it's a little bit on the heavy side. Even though it says 4.5 pounds, it feels heavier than that to me. The fact that it's not serviceable because it's MSI, we talked about that before, even though it's got all these nice screws and stuff on here, you unscrew them, the way that the bottom clips onto the top piece, it just feels sketch like you're gonna break the tabs off just trying to get in there. So upgrading things like the storage, changing the battery if you needed to, that's considered a non-serviceable part, even though the bottom does look like it would be very easy to take apart. So that's one of the things I'm not a fan of. Anyway, what are your guys' favorite laptop specs? What do you guys look for when you shop for laptops? I know battery life is a very important thing. It's 99.99 watt hours. That's the biggest battery we've personally had come in a laptop. So I think this one's gonna get you the best battery life that you can if you're running off the discrete GPU and you're running on the discrete or the internal GPU, which is built into the processor, on battery saver mode and all that. You're just not gonna be doing any gaming during any of it. So there you go, guys. That's the MSI GE76 Raider, the 10875H 8-core 16-thread with RTX 3080 laptop GPU with 16 gigabytes of memory. Yeah, the laptop version has more than the desktop version.